The sun was setting behind the dusty hills, staining the sky with shades of orange and red, when a small boy, barely 10 years old, pushed open the creaking wooden door of the Iron Soul's biker bar. Inside, laughter echoed and bottles clinked as men with leather jackets and tattooed arms swapped stories of the road. The scent of beer, oil, and smoke filled the air. But the moment that door opened, the laughter died. Every head turned toward the boy. He stood there barefoot, his tiny frame swallowed by a shirt 2 sizes too big. A purple bruise marked his cheek, and his hands shook as he clutched a crumpled piece of paper. Dust clung to his hair, and fear, raw, trembling fear, sat in his wide eyes. "Please," his voice cracked, barely louder than the hum of the jukebox. "Please, can you kill my stepdad?" The entire bar went silent. For a long moment, no one moved. The weight of his words hung in the air like smoke. Then, slowly, a chair scraped across the floor. Ryder, the leader of the Iron Souls, stood up. He was a mountain of a man, broad shoulders, a thick beard streaked with gray, and eyes that had seen too much of the world's ugliness. His leather jacket bore the emblem of their gang, a skull wrapped in iron wings. He approached the boy carefully, like one might approach a wounded animal. "Kid," Ryder said, his voice low but steady, "what did you just say?" The boy swallowed hard. "He hurts my mom, every night." And he said, his lips quivered. He said next time he'll kill her. "I tried to call the police, but they don't listen." "You're bikers, you can stop him, right?" Ryder felt something twist deep in his chest, something he hadn't felt in years. A buried memory surfaced, uninvited. His father's shouting. His mother's sobbing. The helplessness of being too small to stop it. He knelt down, lowering himself to the boy's eye level. "What's your name, kid?" "Ethan," the boy whispered. Ryder took a breath, steadying himself. "Listen, Ethan. We don't kill people. But we do protect those who can't protect themselves." Ethan's eyes filled with tears. "Then please protect my mom." The room stayed silent. The bikers, rough men with scars, ink, and broken pasts, looked at each other. They had fought wars, buried friends, and seen things that never left their minds. But nothing hit harder than the trembling voice of a child asking for help. Ryder looked around at his brothers. "Gear up," he said quietly. "We're going for a ride." Engines roared to life, echoing through the still night like thunder. Headlights sliced through the darkness, and the smell of burning rubber filled the air. Ethan sat on Ryder's bike, clutching his small backpack tight, the wind whipping through his hair. He didn't speak. He just stared straight ahead, eyes fixed on the horizon. Ryder glanced down at him once. The kid's face was pale, but his jaw was set. He reminded Ryder of himself, all those years ago, scared, but still fighting to hold on to hope. They reached the edge of town just before midnight. The place Ethan called home looked more like a ruin than a house, the roof sagging, the paint peeling, the yard overrun with weeds. A flickering light glowed through the cracked window. Ryder killed the engine. The other bikes followed, their rumble fading into silence. Then, through the window, Ryder saw her. Ethan's mother lay on the floor. Her face was swollen and bruised. A shattered plate lay nearby. She wasn't moving. Before Ryder could move, the front door burst open. A man stumbled out, mid-40s, unshaven, reeking of whiskey. "Ethan," he slurred. "You worthless brat. Where are?" He froze. There, in his yard, stood 7 men dressed in black leather, their bikes lined up behind them like beasts of war. The night air was thick with silence and tension. Ryder stepped forward, his voice low but steady. "You like hitting people who can't fight back." The man sneered, squaring his shoulders. "Who the hell are you?" Ryder smiled, not the friendly kind. The people you should have never met. Two bikers moved in, blocking his path. Ryder walked past him, straight into the house. He knelt beside Ethan's mother, gently helping her up. Her breathing was shallow, her body trembling. When she saw Ethan, her cracked lips curved into a weak smile. "Baby," she whispered. "Are you okay?" Ethan ran to her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "I found help, Mom. I told them everything." She broke down, tears falling freely. "Thank you," she whispered to Ryder. "Thank you for coming." Ryder nodded once. "You don't need to thank me. You just need to heal." Outside, the stepdad tried to bluster, but the bikers didn't move. They didn't touch him. They didn't need to. Their presence alone, their silence, was enough to make him stumble back into his house, slamming the door. Ryder carried Ethan's mother out to the bikes. One of the men brought a first aid kit from his saddlebag. They cleaned her wounds, gave her water, and sat with her until dawn. Ethan's stepdad came out yelling again, until he saw the patrol cars pulling up. His face went white. Ryder stood beside Ethan, watching as officers dragged the man away in handcuffs. "How did they know?" Ethan asked softly. Ryder looked down at him. "Because you did the right thing, kid. You kept everything that mattered." He reached into Ethan's backpack and pulled out a small folder, photos of bruises, hospital reports, even voice recordings of the man's drunken threats. Ethan had been saving proof, hoping someone would listen. "You were brave," Ryder said. "Braver than most men I've met." Ethan blinked up at him. "You didn't kill him." Ryder smiled faintly. "No, kid. We didn't need to. Sometimes, justice just needs a little push in the right direction." As the police car drove away, Ethan turned to Ryder. "Are you gonna leave now?" Ryder nodded slowly. "We've got places to be." Ethan's small hand gripped Ryder's glove. "Can I be like you when I grow up?" Ryder chuckled softly. "You don't want to be like me, Ethan. You just keep being the kind of person who stands up when others can't. That's the real strength." He turned to his crew. "Let's roll." Engines came alive again, filling the air with the deep roar of freedom. The sun was rising now, casting golden light across the broken yard. Ethan stood with his mother, watching the iron souls ride off down the road. He waved until the last headlight disappeared into the horizon. Ethan's mother found a new home through a women's shelter. She got a job, started smiling again, and began to heal. Ethan enrolled back in school, though he still looked toward the road sometimes, half expecting to see a flash of chrome or the sound of an engine rumbling past. Then, one afternoon, a package arrived, no return address. Inside was a small leather jacket, custom-made to fit him, and a silver chain with a winged skull pendant. A note was tucked beneath it, written in neat block letters. "For the kid who reminded us what real courage looks like. Iron souls." Ethan pressed the pendant to his chest. He didn't cry. He didn't need to. For the first time, he felt something he'd never felt before: safety. He knew that somewhere out there, a group of men in black leather would always have his back. Ethan grew up to be a man who fixed engines, not broke them. He opened a small repair shop at the edge of town and named it Iron Heart Garage. Above the counter hung the same pendant the bikers had given him. One day, a little girl came in, bruised, scared, clutching a torn backpack. Her voice was small, trembling. "Please, can you help my mom?" Ethan knelt down, eyes soft but fierce. "What's your name, kid?" "Lila," she whispered. He nodded. "Don't worry, Lila. You're safe now." And in that moment, the circle completed. The boy who once cried for help had become the man who listened. Sometimes heroes don't wear capes. They wear leather jackets, carry scars, and ride steel beasts that thunder through the night, not to destroy, but to protect. And sometimes, all it takes to change a life is listening to a child's cry for help.